Okay, kia ora toto tatoa. It's Nathan Rose from Capgemini here in beautiful Auckland, New Zealand. I'm really excited to share with you the next iteration of PowerFX and model-driven apps. So as you'll recall, PowerFX is the Excel-based formula language that Microsoft used to customize apps in the Power Platform. They brought this to the model-driven app earlier this year by way of modern commanding, which allowed us to write formulas to create custom ribbon commands in our model-driven apps. They've now extended this to Dataverse columns. This is an exciting development as it means we'll be able to create new new customizations in our model-driven apps without having to write custom code. So let's go ahead and take a look at this preview feature from Microsoft. So first things first, in order to access it, you're going to need to go to the Preview Maker portal. So that's make.preview.powerapps.com. And once you're in there, you'll choose the table that you want to work with, select Add a new column, and then within that, you're going to see a new option, FX Formula. This is going to allow you to write your PowerFX formula. So we'll go ahead and start typing. You can see that the IntelliSense is already picking up the functions and the columns and tables that are available to us for our formulas. So same way you do it in a modern command or a Canvas app. So I'll quickly show you a couple of commands that I've written in my model-driven app. So the first one is a replication of just a standard calculated field. So this is calculating a percentage based on a couple of values in my model-driven app. So you can see that I've got my formula here and the fields from my model-driven app. You'll notice that the data type is derived as decimal. This is based on the columns that I'm using in my calculation. At the moment, you can't mix and match, so I couldn't add a text column in here. I can work with numbers, I can work with strings, but I can't do that. I can't do that together. The other column that I've created is a calculated name value. So oftentimes what we'll do is use a real-time workflow in the model-driven app to set the name value if it's not a field that the user needs to update or create themselves. And I'm using a PowerFX formula to replicate that real-time workflow functionality. And so you can see that I'm using a concatenate function, and this is setting the name value on my record. One more thing I want to quickly show you before we get into the demo is when you're creating these formulas, you'll often want to see very quickly whether or not it is working as you intend it to. And one really cool feature that the team have added in the Maker portal is the ability to preview your data. So we can see very quickly whether this formula is behaving the way that we intend it to without going through the rigmarole of creating the column, adding it to a form, publishing, and then going into the model-driven app. So this is a really nice feature from the Power Platform team at Microsoft. So let's go and see this in action in the model-driven app. So you can see this is an example of a holding record. This is my out-of-the-box name field that's set by real-time workflow. And this is my PowerFX calculated field, and you can see that it's achieving the exact same result. And then you can see this is my out-of-the-box calculated field and my PowerFX calculated field. Now you'll notice that the out-of-the-box field has a decimal precision of 5 places, and the PowerFX field only has 2. I've spent a bit of time looking into this and playing around with some of the different formula types. At the moment, it appears to be default behavior. I haven't seen any way to specify decimal precision in a PowerFX field. However, in the docs, I've seen that there is a format decimal function, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before this is available to us in a Dataverse column, as decimal precision is often quite important. So let's go ahead and add one of these and see these formulas in action. So we'll come over here and we'll quickly add a new holding record. You can see that our columns are blank. They're ready to be set by the PowerFX formula. So let's go and just quickly add one of these, save, and you can see those formulas have executed straight away. It set that calculated name value, and it's calculated a percentage for us. So that's just a quick overview of PowerFX calculated columns in Dataverse in the model-driven app. This is a really exciting feature from Microsoft. I'm looking forward to playing around with this some more. And as I learn more, as I'm playing around with it, I will be sure to share that with you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful.